Hey guys, welcome back. Yes, you're seeing me for the third time today. So welcome back. Today we're going to be talking with my friend Cynthia on some we're going to be talking about how to live your dreams. And if you stay till the end of this episode, Cynthia's going to teach you three things that you can start doing today to help start living your dreams like she's living hers and I'm living mine. So, first of all, she's a podcast host, she's a speaker, an author, she's a mom. She's everything that I would ever want to have as a friend and a mentor. So, welcome, Cynthia. Welcome to the show.
I'm truly honored to be here, Richard, and I'm truly grateful that we got connected by Mark.
Yep.
Now
So,
I'm
guys, if you don't know Mark Smith, you need to know Mark Smith, one of the most amazing guys, people you will ever meet. So if you don't know Mark Smith, you need to know him. So, Cynthia, my first question is what is your definition of resiliency?
For me, resilience is the ability to spring back. I mean, to withstand and recover quickly from your difficulties. That's what because I have experienced that, and trying to take a positive perspective on situations, viewing it like the viewing challenges as learning opportunities, looking at
Okay.
it in a positive way, and how you regulate your emotions, how you are able to express your feelings towards other people, how you focus on the things you can't control. Most of the time we focus on the things that we can't control, but we are able to focus on the things we can control. And it helps.
And that's something that I love that you talk about a lot. And that's one of the prayers that I say every night before I go to bed. I say, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and the
Yeah.
courage to change the things that I can. So I love that you talk about that, and I love that you're a woman of faith, also. But let's hop in the Wayback Machine. Let's hop in the DeLorean, and let's go back because if you see, you're an author, you're a speaker, you're a podcast host, you're a mom, but your life hasn't always been all rainbows, unicorns, and skittles. You've gone through a lot of stuff in your past. So take us back to who you are, where you come from, and how did you become the woman that you are today?
Mhm. Well, I am from the Philippines, and I got married there, and I've been married for 23 years with a Filipino, yes, Filipino, and we were blessed with two children. My daughter is 32 now, and she has a family of her own. And I'm also a grandma. That's why that's a new a new role for me. Yes, 9 month old baby, and then my son is 27 years old. You know what? During that time, during my 23-year marriage, I've been subjected to domestic abuse, and it started when my daughter was only 5 months old. We only see each other once a week because he's a veterinarian and he visits poultry farms. He's a consultant. So whenever we see each other on weekends, it's just that, oh my, it's not going. That we usually when we don't see each other, we're excited, no? But here, it ends up arguing, fighting, and so on. So I convinced him, why don't we move to the US, migrate to the US, give our children better opportunities, and at the same time work on our relationships. Of course, I didn't tell that to him. It's just probably when we get here together, the more we bond, I think it would be better. So, but it turned out to be the other way. He was on two restraining orders. So the first one, I initiated the call because he hit me while I was driving, and I just saw some firefighters outside the fire station, and I just pulled over, and then I told them that my husband just hit me on my face. And then they just stopped my husband. Okay, stay where you are. And they called the police officer. You know what? It was so hard for me to see him being handcuffed because I, in the Philippines, there were no programs, there were no laws protecting abuse victims. And just seeing him being handcuffed just breaks my heart. And I didn't know that it's a criminal offense here when when you're charged with physical abuse. So that was the time we had marriage counseling and so on, and up, he was able to improve himself in terms of managing his temper towards me. After 10 years, he was hitting my son continuously. And it was my daughter who initiated the call. He's the type of person who is very disciplinarian. So if he, he was on second year high school, if he answers back, for him, discipline is very important. But it was a continuous beating. So I was trying to reach out to him, pull him, and told my son, go hide yourself inside the room. And when my daughter heard the commotion, she said, Mom, take me to the hospital because I'm having difficulty breathing. And so I told my son heard her complaint, no? My daughter's request to go to the hospital. So he tried to check if something's wrong with her. Here comes my husband trying to go straight to my son again to start hitting him again. So I pulled him and told my children go straight to the van because we'll be going to the ER. So instead, I thought he will stop following the children, but he still continued and he tried to hit me as well. So we left him, and then we got to the ER. And after that, we stayed in my sister's place because of fear. And it was my daughter who initiated the call. That was 11:30 in the evening. And I could see right after calling the police officer, she was at the front door outside crying, really sobbing. And my and my son even requested for a 2-year restraining order. And it was so sad because it impacted so much. We were living in fear. Like for example, if we're in having dinner, happy, sharing stories, suddenly he would just snap. And then we would just look around. What happened? I don't know. It's like we're living on eggshell. So, but during that 2-year period, I kept reminding my children, you know what? I know your dad loves you because I believe my husband is a good guy. And it's just that he was raised the same way. So he thought that it was normal. And it was hard for the children to respond to his text messages. But after the 2-year restraining order, it was their graduation ceremonies, and I was so delighted when they invited him to attend their graduation. That means forgiveness is taking place within the family. And but after 4 months, I received a call from a police officer saying, "Hey, is this Mrs. Cynthia Concordia?" And then I told him, "Yes, man who's calling, please. This is police officer so and so. Your husband is here at the ER at the hospital." So when I asked him why, just come over, and I kept. I was very insistent that please tell me what happened, and I won't leave this place not until you tell me. Was and just come over. Is he conscious or unconscious? And then he said he's unconscious. Oh my heart was beating so fast, and I immediately called my daughter. I'll be going straight to the hospital, and then just meet me there. So we were at the reception, ER reception, nurse reception desk. Uh, I asked for my husband, and the head nurse, the ER physician, approached us and accompanied us to the family room. And when I asked about my husband, they told me, "Cynthia, we tried our best to revive your husband. Unfortunately, we were unsuccessful." It was like the whole universe crashed on my chest, and I asked them, could you accompany me to to my husband? And as I approached the trauma room, I could see the silver bed, stainless silver bed, with a lifeless body with a tube in his mouth. As I approached him, I was asking God, why? Why me? Why did this have to happen? Because I was still hoping that our family will get together. And I even touched him. I even gave him a kiss on his forehead. And I was crying so hard, not because he left us, but he left us without us communicating. He left us without us resolving our issues. He left us without forgiving each other. That was the hard part.
Well,
And
what was the cause of death?
massive cardiac arrest. And the worst part was he was biking when he collapsed on the road. And where the worst part was, we were blocked by his family because he had no history whatsoever in terms of heart problem. So they were blaming me. It was because of the restraining order that gave him so much stress. And that was the start of me getting stuck in my dark bubble. The guilt. Imagine I was the cause of his death. And that was the time I stopped engaging with people. I stopped connecting with other people. I stopped doing what I'm doing at the gym. And because of what? Because of fear. Fear that I'll be judged, fear that I'll be rejected, and fear I was a failure as a mom and as a wife. Even our common friends blocked us off. And I came to a point wherein I was so depressed. It was only God that I was connecting with, who gave me so much strength, and it didn't even valued my life during that time anymore. But it so happened that I was stuck in my dark bubble for 6 years, 2 years during my restraining order, and 4 years during after his death. And actually, up to now, 9 years, turning 10 years, the grandparents haven't connected with their grandchildren, even though how much we tried. Even my son used his savings to purchase a ticket to Chicago to meet with them. They didn't want to talk to him. They canceled, but actually the grandfather agreed to meet with him, but on the day itself, he canceled. And he said that I was not feeling very well. So,
All right. So before we move on, I want to thank our sponsors because I want to dig a little bit deeper into about how a person goes about reinventing and reimagining their life so they can start living their dreams. But first, I want to thank our sponsors. As you guys see above, um, one of my favorite things to do is I love to read. I'm a big reader. I got 18 books going always at one time. I got 2 audio books. And if you like books, like I like military books, I like science fiction. My friend J.F. Holmes actually has a great book series. So if you like military and fiction books, check out J.F. Holmes. He writes some amazing books. So if that's your thing, check him out above. So Cynthia, let me ask you a question because, you know, before he died, he was out of your life for 2 years or out of your home for 2 years. So even though he was still alive, you had to start doing things on your own. You had to start becoming both parents sometimes, and you had to start reinventing and reimagining your life even before he passed. So what was that like? One day he's in the home, the next day he's not in the home. So now you're playing mom and dad at the same time. What was that like?
It was hard. It was hard. And my son was about to go to college. And it was actually the time when he asked me, Mommy, will I be going to college? Because I was only focusing on myself. And when I asked him, oh, it was like a slap on my face that I forgot I still have a responsibility for my son. So when I asked him, where would you like to go to college? Is it okay to go to Culinary Institute of America? I've heard about that school because a lot of famous chefs graduated from that school. But when I did my research, I was shocked by the tuition fee. I'll share with you, not because I'm bragging, but because I was able to manifest my dream. First year was 50,000. Second and third year were 60,000 each. Being a single mom, a single earner, where will I get that money? I tried convincing him to change course, to change school, but I know he was not happy. So when I suggested, okay, let's visit CIA, I could see a sudden change on his face, that he was excited. He started visualizing his dream. And that I told myself the only thing that I can do for my children is to support them. He deserves to create his own dream. If I am not willing to stand up and make that shift, then what would happen to my children? So that was the time when I made the decision and created my dream by design. Not by default, because by default I'll be constricted again by the past pains of the trauma, the doubts that I don't have the money. I really didn't have the money during that time. But when he applied and got accepted, manifestation started coming in.
Okay,
Again,
now I'm a big manifestation guy. I love talking about this stuff, but when I had the authors of Rich Dad Poor Dad come on the show,
mhm,
and they were talking about their books, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and something that hit me was the rich people or wealthy people, they don't ever ask the question of, or they don't ever say, I can't afford it. They always talk about, well, how can I afford it? Because I think
yeah,
once your dreams get bigger, then your ideas get bigger, and then the money starts to flow. So talk to us, because once you decided, okay, he's going to go to CIA, this is the
mhm,
price. Now we're going to make the money. So I'm sure that once you decided this is what we're doing, then everything started to flow because you made a decision and you started manifesting the money coming to you, right?
yes, yes. So that was the time when I created my dream, and then I used to work for the World Bank. I was a program assistant, and I've been applying for an analyst position, which is the entry level for the professional staff, for years, years. But I've been really developing my skill set being an analyst. But there was a time that HR offered this GE readiness program. GE is the level for an analyst. I'm on a GD level. So I applied. Out of 850 plus who applied globally, 25 were declared GE ready, and I was one of them. And one afternoon, one HR admin called me asking for my availability to be interviewed for an opening. Of course, I agreed because I've been applying for years. So, but then at the latter part, I told her, you know what, I can't seem to remember applying for this position because I haven't, I don't think I've applied. And then she told me, well, since the GE Readiness Program was their program, that was their baby, they wanted to support that program and got six candidates to be interviewed from the 25. And you know what? I got the position. That was the first manifestation. During that time, it happened during that time when I was really down and I don't know where to get the money. And another thing, because at the bank, I always have these BBLs, brown bag lunches. I always initiate learning among colleagues. And I invited someone from a bank to discuss about retirement planning. And she told me, we had a discussion, Cynthia, since you're living by yourself and your children are not with you, why won't you downsize? I didn't think about that because I got so attached with that house. It's not that big, it's a 3-bedroom townhouse, but mm, we have created so many memories, so much memories in that house. But my priority was about my sons going to school. So I took action, I sold the house, and then I moved to a 1-bedroom condo. It saved me 50% of the monthly mortgage. Again, it went to his tuition fee. And then another instance is someone advised me, why won't you apply for grants and scholarships? I didn't know about this resource because I am an employee of an international organization wherein I'm not eligible. But I'm glad my son was a US citizen during that time. So instead of paying 50,000 for his first year, I only paid 11,000. Again, this helped me sustain him till he graduated from college. And that was the time wherein he finished school actually in 3 years. He took up applied food studies and then culinary arts. But after that, a lot of things happened. So my son was able to work for 2, 3 Michelin star restaurants, traveled to Tulum, Mexico, and Australia to gain experience. But due to COVID, had to come back and became a farmer. And when I asked him, how do you feel becoming a farmer? Because it cut so much from his paycheck. And he said, I took up applied food studies. I need background in terms of agriculture. I need, farming is a way for me to know more about the food system. So while he was a farmer, he actually came up with some initiatives to educate children about basic farming and food systems. He even taught parents, most especially moms, how to prepare dishes based on the local produce harvested from the farm. So what he did, he tried to connect the farm and the community, help them benefit from each other. My daughter, she's a project manager in one of the government contracting firms, at the same time work as a volunteer firefighter. Why? Because it was the volunteer firefighter who tried to revive her dad when he collapsed on the road. And for her, it's about time to give back by saving lives. It's not, I think she's now on her 8 or turning 9 years volunteering as a firefighter. So why am I sharing this? It is because if I did not go out of my comfort zone, if I if it was fear that really overpowered me and did not take any action, uncomfortable action, this would have not happened. Now the kids are are trying. By the way, my son, after being a farmer, he became a sous chef in Vermont and then moved to Fresno, California, joined the brigade as a brigade chef. Now I'm managing 15 or 19, I don't know, 15 schools in the school district of Fresno, California, helping administrators and cooks how to prepare the meals from scratch instead of feeding the children, the students, processed food. So that's what he's doing now. And I used to ask him, would you like to start a business, a restaurant? He said no, because I'm a really advocate in sustainability in the food industry. And I could see a lot of food wastage in the restaurants and hotels. But I think educating children would be a lot better. It's more impactful. So that's what he's doing now.
Okay, so now, how did you get into the world of manifestation? For me, it was I read the book "Awaken the Giant Within" by Tony Robbins 20 or 30 years ago, and then just last year, I picked up the book again and I read it, and then I read the book "The Secret," and then I got Think and Grow Rich, and then I started studying about the mind, and I started finding out, who the guy that authored the book Think and Grow Rich, who he learned from, Mr. Dale Carnegie, and
Ah,
I
the
got so
same.
interested in the mind that the mind hasn't really changed in the last 120 years. That we have something in our brain called the reticular activating system, that whatever we look for, we're going to find as long as we focus. And that's how we learn how to manifest things, is by having that laser like focus. So
Mhm.
what started you on your road to manifestation? What was it? Was it a book? Was it something you heard?
It was the program I attended with Mary Morrissey, Dream Builder, the Dream Building program, and she discussed more about the law of attraction, and it was combined with my readings with Dale Carnegie as well, how to influence friends and people and
How to
friends
make friends and influence people.
and
Yeah,
yes,
great book.
and
Yeah.
because I'm more into a people. I'm a people person, and I interact more with people, and I value human connection. And for me, how you project to others is how they mirror that back to you. If you if you if you appreciate, if you show appreciation to others, and you're always smiling, I'm sure it will come back to you. They will mirror it back. And that's how I was able to really go through the challenge I've had, the challenges I've had. I've worked on the health and well-being, which covers the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And then when I found that, when I got that positive energy from sharing, reading, going to the gym, uh, listening to podcasts, and praying really every day, conversing with God, it gave me that positive energy, which I was able to transmit to other people. And transmitting that to other people, again, as what I've mentioned, it mirrored it back to me. It gave me so much confidence. I was able to um, build deeper and more meaningful relationships with my mom. It was so hard to deal with an elderly as well. They have a fixed mindset, but it's how I am able to relate. How do I show myself with my mom? So it's a matter of how you project yourself to other people, and they will return it back to you. And that's how I was able to get connected more with friends. And it built my confidence to perform better at work. So I was able to deliver more. I got motivated, and now I've retired. I'm s- I should not say retired. I've recreated my life, another chapter of my life wherein I would like to apply what I've learned from my past experiences, just share my story, be able to inspire and empower others that, hey, whatever happened to me, uh, for sure you'll be able to manifest also what you want to manifest in life, as long as you believe, as long as you are ready and willing to make that change, to take that uncomfortable steps, make
And
change.
one thing, you had me on your amazing show, Dream to Rise, which one of my favorite podcasts of all time. I don't miss an episode. So, but a lot of people would say, just like they were with me, who are you to start a podcast? Who are you to? Because I'm only a ninth grade dropout. So who am I to be interviewing millionaires, billionaires, thought leaders, game changers? Or somebody could have said to you, who are you to start a podcast? You're a woman, you know, uh, you don't speak perfect English, blah blah
Mhm.
blah. But you said, you know what? I'm going to dream to rise. I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to put good out into the world. So, what was the thought process in even starting a podcast? What were you thinking, and what got you started on that thinking thought process?
Well, it's my purpose. It's my purpose that motivated me to really start the things that I never dreamt of doing. The podcast, someone advised me, because if you have a message to share to the people, why not share it through podcast? Again, fear came into to me again. But because just like what you mentioned, I'm from the Philippines, I have a strong accent. Even my children are laughing at my accent. And then they would always tell me, "Oh, mom, who would listen to you?" So that's another thing that drags me, but I told myself, I think my message is more important rather than how I say it, but I hope I say it in a way wherein they'll be able to get my message. And that's why I always pray, Lord, just give me the right words so that my message will be received um, the way you want other people would receive your message. And that's the thing. I now have, I don't, I think I have, I just started last year. So now I have like 86 episodes. And I want to be consistent because I just want the people to know that, hey, my mission is really to share the stories of other people who have gone through their traumas, that they were able to overcome, they were able to rise up, evolve, and now progressing and now making an impact to the world. And my message is really to the people who has no voice, who are being bothered by their fear and limiting beliefs. Me from a different country, probably I could they could relate with me with a different accent, that, hey, this lady from a different country with an accent, a strong accent, can do it. Why can't I hope I could be an inspiration to those who are still in that stage we're in, having doubts and having those fears. And like also like writing a book. I never imagined doing all those things. And but then it was because of my mission, my purpose, my vision that let's spread that sunshine and happiness to all. So this may create a ripple effect. The only thing that I want to see in this world is peace, kindness, compassion, and love to prevail here. That's all.
But some people might think they would look at us and we're not 30 years old anymore. And for
Mhm.
me, I'm not a very tech guy. I'm not a big techie guy. So I had to learn how to do what we're doing. I had to learn how to put out quality podcasts, do quality audio. So it took a lot of time to learn what we're doing now. And by the way, like I said, I love your show and I love all the graphics and everything you do. So you're doing a top quality show. But that could have been something where you were like, you know what? I'm not so good at that, so I'm not even going to start. So what was that having to learn, even though you might have been technically proficient in using computers for work? This is a whole different beast. Social media is a different animal compared to everything else. So what was your thought process in learning how to do a podcast, how to do promote on social media, how to do headlines, how to get hashtags, all that stuff? What was that like the first couple times you did it?
Actually, I had to learn from other people. I got some. I also had some coaches, mentors who helped me. Oh, what should I do to help improve this? Because you know what's the problem. How come it's not that effective? So every now and then I will try trial and error. But then you learn from those trial and error. If it fails, it's okay. There's another episode which you can create. But now every time that I publish an episode, it's getting better and better and better, and that's what we want in life. We Life is a continuous learning process, and if you stop learning, then you'll get stuck in that first stage. It took me um, some time. Should I get a BA? Because I was having a hard time really getting all the videos, editing all the videos. So I tried reaching out to someone from the Philippines. Her name is Maria Go, and got some tips. And then later on, she was so nice. She was giving me free uh, um, tips or free sessions. Then, when I saw how she was really concerned about my podcast or my services, that was the time I told her, how much do you charge? Let's see if I could work things out so that I may be able to help you as well. And we both benefit, and we were able. Now we're working together. She's teaching me, and I'm helping her as well in terms of um, earning money. And that's why I I earn money not because to gain, to live a luxurious life. I live a simple life, but money is also important so that I could share that blessings to other people, to those who are in need. And that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Now, and I love that you're talking about it. I got something that I teach. Like, I don't know, you can't see it. I have a cup right here on
Uh-huh.
my desk. I keep it empty for a reason because I know that if my cup is empty, I can't pour into anybody else. So I got to make sure that my cup is full so I can pour into Cynthia. I can pour into Mark. I can pour into others. And I think a lot of people, like my friend, I actually started a course January 1st, and he's about launching a profitable podcast, how to get 1 million downloads. And his podcast drops on Valentine's Day. But I'm telling him, like you're doing, that the podcast is to help people out, but it's also a distribution channel to
Yes.
where you're not just doing a podcast. You have two amazing books. You were just featured in a magazine. So you're actually making a business out of it. It's not a hobby. So
Mhm.
you're taking it very serious. So show us the two books that you have, and then show off the new magazine you were in.
My first book is My Journey into Becoming. Yes, this was published January 2022.
I
And then
got that one. I have that one.
yes. And then this is Overcoming Self Sabotage, wherein I'm a co author. There are 11 women who wrote a chapter. My third one is I'm going to show my Dream to Rise. Wherein I have 19, we are 19 co-authors. It's an anthology, and each one shared their story uh, from their trauma up to the stage where they are in, helping and impacting people. It's just a matter. And then this one, the magazine, which was, what's this, released December, and then it covers all the women on the rise, and I'm so happy that I was featured there.
That's
So
awesome.
uh, it's just I never imagined all these things are happening to me, and but it's just that probably it's because of my purpose. The main thing that I want to share that light for others, and I want others to share that light for the people they meet as well. And I always tell other people that, hey, we have that spark of light, even though it's a 10 watt bulb. I don't know, 10 watt bulb. I don't know if there's a 10 watt bulb thing, no? But then most of us, we are focused on that 10 watt bulb. But we can change that 10 watt bulb, and that 10 watt bulb has a spark, still a spark. And that's your gift. That's your talent that was given to you by God. Use the talent, but most of the time, you get stuck in that 10 watt bulb. You need to clear up all those blockages, the limiting beliefs, the fears, the paradigm, and all those roadblocks. And it's just like you looking at the window. How come it's not clear when you look outside? Because the window is not clean. So clean the window so you have a better view of what is awaiting for you outside. And that's your purpose. So we still can change that 10 watt bulb to a 2000 watt bulb. I don't know if there's a 2000 watt bulb, but make sure that your lamp is not is not situated in a room. Make sure that your lamp is positioned on a lamp post so that all those traveling in the dark may be guided by your light as they travel towards their destination, and that's their dream. So that's being from me being from being a warrior to becoming a light warrior, and that's what I want to happen.
All right. So the last questions I have for you is this is a teaching podcast, and I have somebody in mind right now. She's going through a lot, especially today. Um, give us three things that somebody, if they're struggling in life, what would be your top three pieces of advice so they can help clean the window and start to get some clarity and get them sunlight in their life? What would be your top three pieces of advice?
Um, I think having uh, having an abundance consciousness. Uh, this is becoming aware of the existence of plenty. Because this opens our mind to see and recognize opportunities. Because abundant thinking relies on willingness to change our patterns of thought. Most of the time, we are stuck on those limiting beliefs and all those patterns of those roadblocks. But remember, we live in an abundant universe. If you, I think, if you expect little, you get little. So it's all about your thoughts. Where your attention goes, energy flows. And then be grateful. I I always have this gratitude list that every day I would list down 10 things that I'm grateful for. But because when you focus on what you're grateful for, then you will see all the blessings in life and you feel more abundant. You feel that there's a change of perspective as well, that you are blessed. And then uh, take care of your health and well being. Most of the time, we work, 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 have this work life balance. Make sure that you won't be able to give what you don't have. So if you take care of yourself and you love yourself, the more you're able to serve others. Yes.
I love it. So, last question is, where do we find your podcast? What's your podcast name? And where do we find your books?
Yes, my podcast name is Dream Tries, and it's in Apple, Spotify, and also YouTube. And then the books are available on Amazon. So again, my journey to becoming, overcoming self sabotage, and the latest one, which is it. On the second day, it became the Amazon's international bestseller, Dream to Rise. That's it.
Now, is
Thank
there a website to go to?
My website is dreamtorise.info, and you'll be able to see all my activities there, all my interviews, all my speaking engagements, my and then what's coming. I am offering a free master class this February 22. So if you're interested, just go to my website and then get your spot there. And then my program is also there.
I love it. And also, I want to give a big shout out. We mentioned earlier Mark Smith, Mark Ira Smith. He has a book called Wrestling with Demons. Make sure you
Yeah.
pick up the book, an amazing book, especially if you're a wrestling fan. But if you're a Christian man, he's got an amazing bride. So definitely check out his book. Cynthia, thank you so much for having me on your show. And thank you so much for being on my show.
I thank you so much for the opportunity. And thank you, my friend. Now
Well,
I'm missing my friends.
Well, have a great week. And guys, as you see, the shirt that I'm wearing says "Today I Decide," and I got that from Mr. Joel Osteen because that's something he talks about. Is you have a choice every day when you wake up to be a victim or to be a victor. And if you guys listen to this show, you guys are no longer victims of your past. Now you're victors of your future. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for showing up all the time. And Cynthia, thank you so much for everything you do for me. And I appreciate your friendship.
Thank you. Same here, Richard. Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
guys. I love you guys. Remember, vertical momentum, the only way to go is but up. And I will catch you guys later. Cynthia, have a great week.
You too. Thank you. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.